Tell me about how you got inducted into social media.
Mm. I think it was a while back when obviously Facebook was the first official or real social media uh, that I started using, and I used to love it. I used to love using Facebook because it was very enjoyable. It was a lot of fun, and mostly because it used to be about connecting with your friends, right? Adding your friends as friends on Facebook. And there used to be a lot of banter in the sense that you could put up statuses, text statuses, and then go and write on your friend's wall. You could write random stuff, maybe just abusing someone, in jest, or yeah, or just like cracking a joke, and there's someone else commenting on that joke, and then someone else replying to that comment of your post, and then someone else going and replying to that reply of the comment.
Yeah.
And that it like just in a cycle, and it was just a lot of fun because everyone came together, to sort of roast each other or
Yeah. Just be like, bitch, what is wrong with you? Why are you not picking up my call? You better be dead.
yeah. So it like that, right? And it was not about how what you were writing or posting, how people were perceiving it, or or how you need to modify it to get more engagement, or what's trending. Like, I hate that fucking word trending, actually. But yeah, like, I think after Facebook, and then it came to Instagram, and that exclusivity, or that closed circle, right? Because in Facebook it was always about your friends,
Yeah.
and your friends, and probably your friends. But now I think it's more about, like, looking at what random people in some random corners of the world are doing, and comparing yourself to that, and posting things that are, like, completely, like, are perfect, right? They're not real, they're not you, but they are perfect, right? And it's like the utopian version of yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's what Instagram is about. It just feels like it's very
But is that
surface level.
stopped you from, say, being a part of Instagram or the new sort of social media? Because if yes, then how did you know about it beforehand? Or like what really stopped you?
When everyone was migrating, so to say, from Facebook to Instagram, like, I think, and Instagram is mostly about pictures, right? And it's
Yeah.
always been that way. Now obviously there's reels and other things, but I think it started off as pictures.
Just pictures, yes.
And I was never someone, who liked taking a lot of pictures and all that. And I think when it first came out, like, I didn't create an account myself, but I was looking at my friends, and and I was just seeing that it's not about the banter anymore, right? It's not about like speaking with your friends anymore. It's just about, like, posting pictures, and then writing pretentious comments, like, oh, I love your hair, I love your whatever, and just, like, random liking, and like, posting something has become, how can you modify that, or how can you mold it in a way where you get the most engagement, right? Because yeah, everything is, like, tailored to get more engagement, not necessarily what you want to say, not necessarily what you want to write, or take a picture of, but what's going to get you the most engagement. And that's, I think, the most fuck all part about it, which is why I probably never got into it. But yeah, what about you?
I mean, so I've been on Instagram for a while. I was on Facebook before that. I'm still on Facebook. I just don't use it anymore, just like everybody else from our generation. Um, Incidentally, for me, even though I'm much more into social media right now than you are, it was completely under peer pressure. Facebook, Instagram, everything actually. I never wanted to be on there, but my friends were talking about it and they were like, you have to be here. And as you said, right, like Facebook was fun. With Facebook, I don't ever remember having any stress
Yeah.
except for maybe, and that too after a while, not when we were in school or something. After a while, like, okay, you need a good DP. And I remember whenever people would get their pictures taken, so if there was a good picture, or if they're trying to tell the person that, take a good picture, they'd say, take something that I can use as my DP. Or I remember they'd be like, "Oh, I've clicked like 6 pictures of her, and like
Oh,
3 out of those you can use as a
DP
DP."
material.
Yeah, this is DP material, exactly. So I think that was like, but I still don't feel like there was any added pressure that came with it. It's just that, like, hey, that's the picture people will see with your name, and you just want it to look good, which is great, right? Nobody wants to look bad, even in real life. So that was fine. Other than that, yes, it was just banter. It was about having a friends list. It felt like just another extension of a platform.
Yeah, I think, that you touched upon, and I forgot to say that. But yeah, that word, right? That word. And
Yeah.
one word I think has made all the difference. Friends, right? Going from friends on Facebook to followers on Instagram.
Yep.
Like, everyone is following someone, like this pedestalization of, people and these influencers, and, like so many people following them, and everything catered to get more followers, and everything, molded to get more engagement out of your existing followers. And yeah,
I think a word matters a lot, because back then it was just like, oh, I have 1,400 friends versus I just have 1,400 followers, or like I have 10,000 followers. But yeah, I mean, so from there coming to Instagram, I think from day one itself, because it was like a completely visual based thing. And that is also something when I was in college, I was told that, Yasha, you need to be on Instagram. And I was like, why? And I was like, Facebook is dying. It's not the thing anymore. And, you absolutely need to be there. So, and the thing is, that person made my account, right? So I knew nothing about it. I've always been sort of like a cave woman when it has come to any sort of tech, even social media for that matter. So I've always struggled. But yeah, that's how I was on Instagram. And then I was told, hey, you know what? You need to have an aesthetic page. And I'm like, and that is and just imagine the pressure, the stress just begins from there. Like, when did like just having a profile on social media just start with that much stress and pressure? Like, I was just so like, you need to have an aesthetic thing, because like whenever someone is taking, and this is something that people use nowadays a lot, that whenever someone's taking a look at your overall profile, it needs to be aesthetic, it needs to be pleasing to the eye, it needs to tell people at once who you are. And that's ridiculous. The fact that it has come to a point where we have actually like boiled ourselves down to the point, or at least are trying to.
Yeah, and that's
Like just those 9 squares, like, and it's supposed to tell people apparently who you are.
it's not see, that's the thing, right? It's not even about who you are. It's about who you would like to be in a utopian world, right?
You want other people to think you are.
And
Yeah.
like probably what you imagine yourself to be in your own fantasies, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, we don't live in a utopia, right? No one is perfect, and like
Which
you
reminds me of the bios of some people, cool boy, or like peace, or rock star. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but see, that's what like so it's, as you said, like I think social media evolved from text, on Facebook, to being all important, to going to image. And it's not like you can't be pretentious on text, but
Yeah.
the thing is that you had no reason to be pretentious, right? Because it was not like the entire world was watching what you were writing. It was mostly your friends, right? And
Yeah, there was no added pressure. It was just like, if you wanted to have a profile early on when you're in high school, like it was for us, like, oh, parents can't know because you were not allowed, much less to like be on social media, not even allowed to have a phone. So yeah, I mean, me and my friends had like different names and all, but I just feel like it was mostly fun, like sort of like a thing on the side that's supposed to be fun, that's supposed to help you meet other people, maybe talk to them over the message, figure it out.
now it's just like, I don't know, it's like everyone's writing their own what do you call that, when someone biography, right?
Yeah.
It's Instagram feels like a very retarded version of everyone writing their own biography, but not that it's capturing the important things that you did in your life, but every single thing. If you're taking a shit, oh, my shit's brown today, you'll take a picture of that and you'll post it, and like, oh, this angle's not good. Oh, my face is looking really good like this. Oh my God,
Yeah.
the light is nice here. Let me take a picture or let me take a reel and post it. But yeah, I think that's, and all these, and just like forget regular people. Take influencers, for example. Like, they are also portraying the best versions of themselves, right?
Of
It's not like
course, because that is
fitness models
that's
and
literally their job.
yeah.
Like, it has come to that where portraying like a perfect life, or so even some people who are like, okay, no, this seems too perfect. Maybe I need to put
Mm.
in like one or two
Mm.
imperfections. But at the same time, it's just that, like, okay, how to reach that perfection, because
Mm.
people don't want to see anything less than perfect, or at least that's the thing over there. So, which is why the angles thing, right? And I mean, I can't be a hypocrite here because I am one of those people. I've had Instagram for a while. I do put up pictures over there. And the thing is, yes, I'm not an influencer, or I don't care that much about perfection.
Mm.
Not at least as much as other people do, but at the same time, I know for a fact that if I feel like I look pretty shit in a picture, I never put it up on Instagram.
Mm.
Why would I?
Mm.
Yes, except for if that memory or that picture holds like a special place in my heart, like then I would. Because for me, at least, mostly it's about like 2 years down the line, I can just go back to my profile and the pictures are all there, the memories are all there, and I can just revisit them anytime I want.
Mm.
So that's a huge deal for me. But
So, sorry, tell me something. So right now, if someone, let's say you post a picture on Instagram, you post
yeah,
something. Let's say if I comment on it, can someone else like my comment?
yeah,
Can multiple people like my comment?
yeah,
And then so multiple people can like my comment, and then people can reply to my comment as well.
yeah,
Like, but how often does that happen? Because see, I remember, like, at least in times of Facebook, right? It literally used to be like a roast fest or something.
yeah,
Like, you post something and then someone else, puts a smart ass comment, and there's
yeah.
like more likes on that than there are on your
Oh, it's funny
status.
because
And then
it's
someone
just,
replies, and then it's like, oh,
so it reminds me of this thing where it used to be sort of like, okay, so say with your friends,
Mm.
outside of social media, something has happened. They know about it. And then you post a part of it on Facebook. But these guys know it. It's like an inside
Yeah, it's like an
joke
inside
and all.
joke.
And then people just come to bash you, like, you know what? You just put 50% of it. I know what happened. And then it just goes non-stop. And they used to be fun.
That don't think exists on Instagram.
No, absolutely not. I mean, people don't
It's,
really.
it's more about, oh, I love your hair, or
Yeah,
that's so cool, bro, or like, I mean, that's great, but like, it seems superficial, I think.
it
Uh,
is superficial because the thing
Also,
is,
sorry, I'm gonna cut
yeah.
you off, but can you check if it's still recording?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is the fourth time we are doing this because the camera decided to shut off first 3 times. Right, we'll probably check again a couple of times.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, I was saying, so that thing that you were saying, right? That it seems superficial. The thing is, it is. Most of it is. The reason being, there are social media gurus who will tell you that if you want to grow your account,
Yeah,
you need to engage with other people's account, and it cannot be in the sense. So,
Mm.
in that case, you just want to engage as fast as possible. You just put maybe great, beautiful, one emoji, like a heart emoji.
Mm.
But social media gurus are like, no,
Mm.
write something that matters. So you
Exactly.
write.
Comment on people's posts so that
Yeah.
more people start seeing your account, and
Exactly.
you start getting more fun. It's all about, like, how you can, I don't know, like, how you can just use it in a way, and not just, as an outlet. After you come back from work, you're chilling. No, it's like, it's become like a mechanical thing, right? Like, do
Yeah.
this, grow this much, do that, grow this much. And see, I think, when people speak, okay, so the way, let's say, I would speak to my peers at work, or the way I would speak to my bosses, or the way I would speak to my subordinates, or the way I would speak to partners, there's a difference, right? There's a different way you speak to your peers, there's a different way you speak to your partners. There's a different, and then there's a completely different way in which you speak to your friends, right, or your family. I think that's what social media and Facebook was about.
Mm.
It was being informal.
right? And being able to
Exactly.
be informal and speak to people. And now I think on Instagram you speak and say the same things that you would in a professional atmosphere, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's also a change that
Yeah, I don't think people thought as much about, oh, am I making a grammatical error? Or, oh, can I like really mix Hindi and English and write something like, or this and that? No, I don't think anybody thought of that on Facebook. People just like wrote any dumb thing they wanted to. And it's kind of, I think, nostalgic because sometimes, like, some of my friends, they'll just, they see something on Facebook, like from back then, and they can just send a link to that thread. And, you go through that thread. And that's the thing, the person who posted is just one line, and there's an entire thread, and it's an entire story, and then some shit is going down. People are roasting each other. Someone else has come with something else. And I don't think Instagram can ever have comments like that. It's just not possible. And even when you're trying to grow or whatever, they're like, okay, if people are commenting something, you need to reply, you need to acknowledge it because it's good for engagement.
Yeah, I mean that's what, right? Like you can't keep up. Facebook is about keeping up with your friends, right? But you can't keep up with your friends if you're thinking about what 100 people are doing in 100 different parts of the world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what they're eating, what they're shitting, what they're smoking, what they're wearing, and who they're dating, and who they're not, who they're cheating on, and who they're getting married to, and where
Oh,
they're
yeah.
partying.
Oh my god, like the amount of information you get, like literally stuff that's just TMI about random people you've never known, you've never met, but you just have all of these tidbits about their lives. It's just like a crazy amount of information that's just not needed.
Yeah, and like another thing that really ticks me off, right? Trending, like things that word trending. I mean, what does that even mean? Like so you will post something just because it's trending and everyone is doing it, so let's do it as well. If someone's throwing fucking cold water over themselves or whatever, like so I was at work the other day and one of my colleagues, if he's watching, he'd probably know I'm talking about himself. But he did something hoy hoy or something like that. He was moe moe. Yeah, he was doing some fucking moe moe thing, and then I was just blankly looking at him, and then he said, "Bro, like, why don't you know these things?" And then he showed me a reel on his Instagram, which had this thing, and I looked at it, and I was literally there was no emotion on my face, like I was literally emotionless. My
I'm
face
sad
was.
I know this. Funnily enough, I don't know everything about it, but I just know it because I've seen it in some brands thing. Because of course,
It's
people
like
are
the
doing
definition of herd mentality. Right? It's the definition of doing things because everyone is doing it, so I should do it as well.
it just thrives on FOMO.
Mm.
Social media and people on social media,
Mm.
everybody just thrives on FOMO. And so also that thing like the comparing bit, right? So I remember my sister like a year or two back, she used to be crazy about like getting her pictures clicked and all of that. And she'd be like, okay, no, I need a series of pictures for Durga Puja. I need something for Christmas. I need something for this. I need something for that. And I know where it was coming from. It's because she was seeing other people do that. And so she wanted that for herself as well. And I felt that way too, because it's like, okay, I also want pictures for Christmas or this and that, because everybody's putting it. So if I'm not putting it, it probably tells the world or just the handful of 1,300 people following me that, oh, Tyasha's not celebrating Christmas. Something's wrong. Or like, oh my God, she has a very sad life. That's the message that it gives. So when I was telling her that, okay, I'll get you, I'll help you click your pictures. She was like, but I mean, we need a good background. We need to do this transition. We need these lights. And I'm like, that's possible in a studio. Like, we're not going to like rent out a studio for this because you want to put pictures on your Instagram. And then she just promptly take out the profiles of those people, influencers, who spend God knows how much money.
These fucking influencers.
They're
I
like
think they're
professional quality stuff.
They're the scourge of social media, or like a planet, I think. Like I have this, this ever rising animosity and rage towards these people who call themselves influencers, because it's like
they're celebrities. I mean, they think they're celebrities, and just because they have some X amount of followers on their page, like or the thing, then they think that they own the world, they run the world.
That's the job, I think, is they're getting paid, right?
Yeah,
Lots of money.
exactly. Like
Crazy
and
amount
the
of
thing
money.
is, like, you can't even, like, even though I think it's a complete sham, and I hate influencers. I like, you have to give it to them, right? Like, they are smart. They know, like, people are just blindly and mindlessly and stupidly just following what they're saying. So, and they make money of that, right? They make crazy amounts of money by just making people do something that they're doing. Like, that's what it is, right? Like, that's, like, brands come to them and these companies come to them, give them billions of dollars and say, take this product and shove it down your audience's throat, and that's what they do. And their audience,
Yeah.
the audience gulps it down willingly as well, right? So,
Recently, I came across this piece of news. Funnily enough, I came across it on Instagram only. So there's this Chinese influencer who apparently was promoting one product in 3 seconds. So it was like, and I remember the visuals. It was like there's a table in front of her. Someone's just pushing the product towards her, just picking it up, throwing it. It was literally like this. I'm sure a lot of people will know what I'm talking about if they are on Instagram. And the amount of money she was earning because of that, obscene, like absolutely obscene.
that's what
And it's so bad, they had to make a rule, like a law, that you cannot do that. Like, you cannot just promote something like that without giving enough information about it and blah, blah, blah. They had to make a law or something. Like, it's crazy.
And see, that's what I don't understand conceptually as well, right? Like, okay, so I have people that I really admire, and I'm fans of those people, right? Like, there's lots of people, but, like, if they're drinking some kind of coffee and they're posting about it or telling the world about it, it's not going to make me want to drink that coffee. So that's where, like, influencer marketing, or like, whatever is happening on social media and Instagram at this point, it makes no sense to me, because, like, yes, I might be someone's fan, but, like, I don't have to drink the coffee they're drinking. I don't have to smoke the cigarette they're smoking. I don't have to, like, like, use the fucking shampoo they're using. Like, it
So I think
doesn't.
it's about basically one is social proof, the second one is discovery. So what they do is, because these people have like so many followers, right? And we're calling it a community. There's so many times you wouldn't know about a lot of things, but you know because they're showing
I
it.
know they call it community, and, like, coming from a background where I work in community, I feel that to be very, very disrespectful to the word community, because a community is about a band of people coming together with shared interest and a shared purpose, and it's the complete opposite of what influencers have, right? They have a cult following. The
Yeah.
people with their followers, they're cults, right? It's literally, they're literally, like, all those religious scandals that you hear about, where some Baba is running some cult, and he harassed so many women and told them that he's going to make them all right by touching them in inappropriate places or things. It's like, I feel like there's no difference between those Babas, those cults, and these influences, because that's what their following is, right? Like, they do literally whatever the person, whatever the influencer is telling them to do, and there's a difference. The influencer is here, and the people following that
Of
person
course.
are here, and a
Of
community,
course.
everyone is supposed to be at the same level.
Of course.
Uh,
I should just go and check it once more.
yeah,
Feeling a bit doubtful.
yeah, I can't do this again for the fifth time.
It is
Yes.
still right.
Fifth time is the charm. Or was it the fourth? I don't even remember anymore.
So the community that you were saying, no, I'd make one case for a social media community, and that's the Artidote community. So basically, it's started off as a very small page on Instagram. It was nothing but a place where good art, good writing came together. And even today, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
The picture is good art, and they obviously give credits to whoever it is. The caption is good writing. That's about it. And you won't believe how beautiful, how truly beautiful that community is. And now that you mention it, that that in a community everyone's supposed to be equal. It's not like I'm looking up to somebody. And now that I think of it, that's exactly how it feels like. Because I've been following Artidote for a couple of years now, and I find myself going back to that page, whenever I'm feeling a bit down or even when I'm feeling happy, because there's just that relevant stuff. It's how you watch a movie or you read a nice book and you feel a certain way. That, but also because in Bangalore, I think last year only, 2022, the founder of Artidote had come here, and quite a lot of the followers of Artidote had gone. So I was one of those people. It was called A Minute by Artidote or something like that. Beautiful community, and the way people were just talking
So you
about.
got an invite to that.
I didn't get an invite. I signed up for it. So yeah, like beautiful community in the sense they're not giving you psychological advice, they're not giving you psychological information. It's just a couple of people coming together, talking about their experiences, talking about their feelings, feeling safe enough to do it, and
See,
just sharing that.
that's what community is, right? That's what it's supposed to be. And like touching upon mental health, like I can't imagine what young women and obviously not just women, but I'm just taking women as an example, go through when they're looking at these supermodels and God knows who's of who's, and they look at them on Instagram and their perfect bodies, and
Yeah, and the thing is,
and
like,
then they compare themselves to them, and I can't imagine what goes through their mind, thinking that and then there's always that question, right? Like, why me? Like, why am I like this? And
yeah,
why are these people like that? And the reality is that those people are probably worse off than you are, right?
yeah.
Like, they're probably dealing with problems.
It's
But the thing is,
just
like,
that
they're just showing like they
are
have such.
better at showing
Mm.
the highlights or showing the good parts than you are.
I mean, in real life, they're probably, they probably, look worse than you, just using that as an example of what. But yeah, I mean, I don't. It's the same with fitness influencers and these finance influencers and things like that, where they just. I mean, their community is just a means to an end, right? The end is monetization and making money off the people that follow you, and yeah, and like they'll do anything, right? Like they'll uh, at the end of the day, they're selling brands, right?
Yeah.
They're not selling their own preferences. They're not selling their own what they actually do. It's like they're selling whatever they're told to sell for money, right? And people know that, but they still blindly follow that, which is what amazes me even more. These influencers are like masterminds, I think they know people are just herds, and they're just following where the masses are going, and they've just capitalized on the stupidity of people. And
Of course, I mean, so if I go back to my sister's example from when she wanted me to click her pictures, like we just end up not doing it because she'd be like, it can never be good enough or as good as those people. That was one thing, and she'd be like, why don't I have clothes like these people do? And they're like, maybe, for example, if it's a lehenga, it costs lakhs. And I'm like, why would you? Why would you have a lehenga that costs
And
lakhs?
it's like, so there's two things like something like that can instill, right? It can instill inspiration that, fuck, even I want to be able to reach that stage in life
Yeah.
where I can afford something that costs 5 lakhs.
Yeah.
And the other thing it instills is that, fuck, I'm useless, I'm not good enough. And the thing is, the problem, I think, like 95% of the times it's instilling that feeling over inspiration, right? Because it's not portrayed in a way that like you can do it too, or like it's portrayed in a way like this is what I have, what do you have?
Yeah,
I think
this is who I am. This is how my life is. This is how my lifestyle is. Lifestyle, I think, is a big genre nowadays, anywhere, where basically, because that's what it means, right? Like you're showing people how your lifestyle is. I mean, seriously, is it really that perfect? But I mean, as someone once again who's been on social media apps for a while, I have found myself do the same thing. It's like with every scroll, it's like, wow, that woman looks so good. Like, oh my god, that dress is so good. Like, oh my god, she's married, she's settled, she's successful, she's financially well off, she has a beautiful dog, and she's 24 years old. What the fuck am I doing at 25?
I
Like,
think
seriously?
these fucking influencers, like I think what they do is like they just sell you a dream, right? And they take you on this Ferris wheel that keeps going in circles and you can never get off it because it's an eternal dream, right? Like you never get out of that dream state. Like it's this eternal cycle, it's an eternal circle, and it just keeps going round and round, and you can never get off that. It's like a one-way ticket. You can never get off that.
Yeah,
And,
it almost feels like that illusion of an American dream that so many people used to have, like nice house, white picket fence, and people would think that okay, once I have that, everything's gonna be great.
yeah.
That's
Yeah, I remember, there was this YouTube video I was watching. I think it's been couple of years since I watched that, and I think the title was Girls Living Rough in the UK or something like that. And basically it was going around showing homeless women and how they were going through their lives. And there was this young woman, I think she was around 16, 17 years old, and the interviewer asked her, like, do you have some kind of disdain or animosity towards rich people? Or do you feel like the world has been unfair or unjust to you? And do you think they have less problems or something? And she said something which is stuck with me, right? And there's not a lot that sticks with me. And she said that rich people don't have money problems, but they have other problems. So it's like everyone has problems, right? The most perfect people that you see, they will have problems, and it's just that what your mental bandwidth can hold, right? You cannot shoulder the world's problems.
yeah,
Like let's say if you're poor, your primary concern, fear, need is food, right? And then if that gets fulfilled, then it's the secondary thing kicks in. The secondary thing becomes the primary, and then you fulfill the secondary thing, and then the tertiary becomes the primary, and like that is just a cycle which keeps going on and on.
yeah.
And I think like these influencers and Instagram does a very good job of blocking all of that out and taking that and showcasing only the good things about your life, and not even the good things about your life, but the good things that you think about your life, and perceived in a or like shown represented in a utopian way. I think that's not.
I'll also tell you what, like, so I want to talk a little bit about representation and how that works, right? And by now everybody knows how important representation is, especially if I take Disney's example. Once upon a time, every Disney princess was white skinned. Even their live action movies, they were taking an actress who was white skinned. And all of a sudden, when they did not for the Little Mermaid movie, there was an uproar. There was an uproar from fucking middle aged men who couldn't care less about Disney. But all of a sudden, they are like, Little Mermaid was never dark skinned in the storybooks. Where are your brains, and why the fuck do you care so much? So, but that's the reason why they are doing it, because like I saw some black kids who were like, oh wow, like the Little Mermaid looks like me, and that's beautiful. So with social media, I feel like what happens or what has been happening, especially on Instagram and all, is that people are showing you something as simple as get ready with me to go to the gym, or come and I'll show you what I eat for breakfast. Starting from how the bowls look, to how the spoons look, to the kitchen, to the mirror, everything is perfect to the T. Okay, which makes you feel like she's not doing anything out of the extraordinary. She's doing something very simple, something I do every day.
Yeah, it's like I said, right? Exactly like what you said as well. It's like everyone on Instagram is writing
an autobiography of themselves, especially these influencers. But it's not like they're capturing the main points, right? Or like the major highlights of their life. They're capturing every single thing, right? Like from what when they're brushing to if someone is dying, they need to post about it. If someone is getting born, they need to post about it. If someone is breaking up, they need to post about it. If someone is getting hitched, they need to post about it. But yeah, it's just like every single facet of your life has to be, like, and the thing is, you're not doing it just because you want to share it with the rest of the world. You want to see what kind of engagement, that particular thing can get you. And what amount of pity can something sad get you? What amount of praise can something that you achieved get you?
Yeah, and the reason I was talking about representation is, and hats off to some creators who are actually doing it. Sadly, I've come across only two profiles. I can't recollect the names right now. But one is a middle-aged woman, a single mother with a kid. The other, I think, was a middle-aged boy. Wait, I shouldn't say middle-aged boy. Probably around like
Middle age in a boy's cycle, so 12 years old.
no. Let me just tell the age range. Around like early 20s, basically. I don't know why I said middle-aged boy. Anyway, so these people are doing something similar that the other influencers do. They are showing you how they wake up every morning, that they are cooking breakfast. This woman is showing she's cooking breakfast and also tiffin for the kid, sending him off to school. The guy is showing that, he's waking up, making breakfast, getting ready to leave for college or work, right? The difference is the kitchens are not perfect. Their bowls probably don't match. Their spoons don't match. Everything's not like unbelievably clean or doesn't look like a set that has come out from the architectural just fucking magazine.
Exactly, right? Everyone is like trying to show their own version of their own fairy tale, right?
Yeah, but they're just showing it, and they're also saying that, this is it. This is how I live. This is what I do. This is how I cook. This is what I cook. My life is not perfect, but I do this every day. And I love that because that's where representation comes in. And when I saw that, believe me, like when I saw that, I was like, you can do that? Like you can put up these things on Instagram? Like really? And they also have a lot of followers because these are people like, they really appreciate the fact that they are putting their real selves out there. Nothing crazy, just the simple stuff. And, that might make you feel like, why is it needed? But once again, social media won't go anywhere anytime soon. So might as well have representation.
See, like as much as I've ranted about, how shit I think Instagram is and how
Once again, I
crazy
should see if it's still recording.
you can check. I'll keep talking, but yeah, let me stretch my legs as well.
39 minutes and we're good.
Nice.
Wow.
But yeah, so I mean, as you said, right? Like it's not like it's going anywhere, and it shouldn't. Like even though I've said the things that I've said, like social media is very important, and it has done some things for this world that are very very instrumental to have helped a lot of people, right? And
Absolutely.
and just the fact that a random nobody and a child starving in Africa can create a Instagram reel and get famous overnight and start earning more money than the last 10 generations in his family, and make a name for himself and a life. That is extraordinary, right? Like that is literally power to the people.
Yeah.
It is literally giving power, a voice to the voiceless. That's amazing, and I'm all for that. And just like and you were saying some examples of how you've seen social media change lives for the better.
Yeah, and so blood donation is one, of course. I mean, everybody's seen that. The other thing I think that I have done personally is when I used to have my own travel channel on YouTube. So I used to travel a lot to these very remote villages in Himachal and all, even places where they don't have any network, like not even internet, any network. So a lot of people who actually love to travel they have no idea that
Mm.
a place like that is there. And when I've told it to people, they're like, really? Like, even people have gone to Himachal a lot of times. They're like, seriously? And the thing is, that's the livelihood for the people over there, right? They're just running the homestay, and that's about it. Very small village, 300, 350 people only. And the only way they're earning money, I mean, the major way they're earning money is when people come and stay at the homestay. They don't have any lavish ways to, sort of do their marketing. And they can't even pay influencers like, okay, I'm paying you, you come stay here for free and you promote my thing. That's not how it works. And, but so when I was doing that, I was recording travel vlogs, and I was also recording where I was staying, what I was eating, and then conversations with those people, and fantastic human beings. And I remember when I put it up on YouTube, I didn't have like a shit ton of subscribers. I had like some 5,000 at that time, I think. So many people inquired
Casual
about that
flex.
place. So many people asked about it in the comments. And, we said, okay, this is here, and this is when we went, this is how much it cost, blah, blah, blah. And this is how and because I was also vlogging, like, how I was going. So, like, people also knew how to go there. And I remember, like, after a year or two, when I went back over there, the owners, they were literally like, so many people came and they told us that they saw the homestay on your video or your YouTube channel. And that's fantastic. Like, the fact that those people got to know about it, went and they loved it. And I mean, that's a very nice feeling. Other than that, I feel if you're talking about the psychology bit, right? I mean, I don't think we need to harp on the fact that social media affects mental health negatively. It's everywhere. People have been talking about it. There are tens and thousands of videos and articles on it. And it's terrible for like anxiety, depression, and stress.
So like the most common example that obviously comes to my mind is what we spoke about in the beginning, where you look at some things and influences and you think you're not good enough. But what other how else does it affect mental health?
So that is one where you're constantly comparing yourselves. It doesn't matter how good a day you're having. It could be the best day of your life. But if you're scrolling through social media, you're just going to find something or the other wrong with it. Period. The other thing is the doom scrolling bit, where, and this has happened to me personally, I'm scrolling through the Instagram feed, and it's funny, it's called feed. Doesn't feed your soul. I don't know what, just feeds your insecurities, to be honest.
Yeah,
And
I think it's like it's a cesspool of a cesspool where basically your insecurities get the front stage, right? Center stage to come out and sing in front of the whole world, and just like keep growing like a fucking mold.
yeah, so you keep scrolling. I'm scrolling. I'm not seeing anything of worth. I'm not looking for anything specific. And I'm physically, mind you, like literally physically feeling uncomfortable. I'm probably getting a headache. Extremely uncomfortable, but I can't stop scrolling. Like, so I'm like, I've been sucked into it. And then finally, when I keep the phone aside, I feel mentally exhausted for some reason, and I can't even explain it. And then I remember that, no, I have some work to do, or that, no, why did I waste time there? I wanted to read this book. So I open the book, and then just instinctively, maybe my phone's buzzing, or I feel it as buzzing, which is another thing, phantom vibration. And you're like, okay. And my finger will instantly go, and I can do it blindfolded. Like, I know exactly how many times I need to swipe on my phone and exactly where I need to click to open the Instagram app. It's that crazy.
I see muscle memory is a common phenomena for a lot of things we do in life, but
Yeah.
like that level of, I don't even know if that's muscle memory
I don't
anymore.
know what it is, but I just know exactly where to click, how many swipes to do with my thumb. And I click on it.
That's some
That's what you're expecting, it's sort of like we do it at times where we constantly go and open the fridge, expecting something to appear out of the blue, even though we know there's nothing. Yeah, I've done that too, and I'm like, and you keep doing that. So it's like that, okay? I open it, I have the book on my other hand. And then I realized, oh shit, I was here like a while back and it was making me physically uncomfortable. And it's happening again. It's happening again.
That's crazy. But yeah, I think like it's literally a black hole, right? I
Yeah.
think if anyone ever wanted a one-line definition, I think, 40, 50 years down the line, if someone asks, what's a tell me in one word, what's a black hole? Say Instagram. That would be,
I'm just
I think it's a
imagining
fitting.
something so freaky. They named it doom scrolling.
Mm,
Whoever named it did a fantastic job. You couldn't have explained it any better.
mm.
And the thing is, it affects you in such a terrible manner that I myself, because that, I think there's a term for that as well, like detoxify or something. They say social media detoxification.
Mm.
Just imagine there is something called social media detoxification.
Yeah, I mean, see, of course, like if something is that, something is that addictive, and
That prevalent, that addictive, and taking up that much of our time.
it's literally an undeniably important part of people's lives. I think that is the tragedy. It's supposed to, elevate your life, not like become, not like grow and
Yeah.
become something which you can't control anymore.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about striking that balance for mental health on social media. But it's tough. It's so tough because I've tried doing it so many times. I've gone off social media like at least 3 to 4 times. I did it like a couple of weeks back. I uninstalled the app. And that same thing happened. I just instantly take my phone and I do these scrolls and I click the exact position where the Instagram app used to be, except there's some other app there and something's open. I'm like, oh shit, I don't have Instagram anymore, right? Like, okay, yeah, I'm detoxifying. But then something happens, like I need some information related to work or something I need to know. And I'm like, where do I get it?
Yeah, I mean, like, see, information as well, right? Like, I think more than information, it's like disinformation, if that's a word. I don't know if that's a word, but like incorrect information, I think is, is
Yeah, so
something
when I
that,
say information, I mean, oh no, I don't know what template and what song and what thing is trending right now.
Mm.
Like, oh my god.
followers, trending, and influence. Like, these three words are the fucking cancer. But yeah.
I mean, that's the really sad part. I think everybody talks about striking a balance, and believe me, you can go to Google right now or YouTube right now and just search it, right? Like social media detoxification or how do I strike a balance. You're gonna get 10,000 videos on it. None of them are helpful, by the way.
It's a free drug. It's like it's a digital drug.
Yeah,
Just like
yeah,
fucking cocaine and acid and whatnot. I think it's obviously not expensive. It's free, and it's repeatable. You can do it anytime, wherever you're sitting. Doesn't matter. You just need an internet connection, and it's probably just as bad, if not worse. And I think like if these influencers did not exist, if it was not possible for you to monetize your social media, a lot of these things I think would change because people would, see when money is involved, right? Everyone likes to make money. Like,
of course.
there's no one in the world who can tell you with a straight face that no, that person does not want money.
Yeah,
And if there's an easy avenue to make money out of fooling people, and people will do it. I mean, the influencers are smart; they can make money out of nothing.
why not?
But if you were not allowed, I think, to monetize, or if there was some rules in the sense which crack down on monetization, I think the world of social media would be a very different place altogether. But yeah, I think in
So
conclusion, we
funny
can
thing, one of my colleagues was telling me the other day. So there's a Starbucks near my office, and she said that she saw some influencer at that Starbucks, and she knew because she's seen that influencer on Instagram.
Mm.
Once again, I'll just go check if it's still recording.
Of course.
Feeling paranoid.
Yeah. I think 5 retakes will do that to you.
50 minutes. We're still going strong.
Wow.
Anyway, so she was saying that she was going to Starbucks and the influencer was there for some coffee.
Mm.
So I'm not very sure, but I think when you're dining in with the coffee, they probably like give it to you in a ceramic mug.
Mm.
Something that doesn't have that paper cup
Mm.
with your name on it. And people love posting that picture, right? That's just a whole other thing. People will buy overpriced coffee just to flaunt that thing.
Mm.
So, yeah, my colleague was like, I think the influencer went with someone and she wanted to have her coffee there, but she knew that she won't get it like that. And I think she wanted to post a picture. So, yeah, there was this whole issue there where she was like, no, I need it on a cup. Like, I need my name on it. And then I need you to give it to me in a ceramic mug. And she took a picture. She like did a few reels and then she asked them, no, pour it in a mug because I'm going to have it here. And
Fuck
it
me.
was a whole thing.
Yeah. So basically, in conclusion, we can say, fuck influencers. I think that's what I'm taking out of today's conversation.
But yeah, I think I would leave with an open-ended question. Like, how do you keep your mental health intact while having all your social media accounts? I want to know that.
My answer would be stop following influencers.
Yeah, that is one.
Unfollow all the influencers.
Exactly.
Number 1. Number 2, stop following the trend. And number 3, and just make sure you're doing number 1 and 2.
Exactly. And funnily enough, I was watching a TEDx speaker, who's a psychologist, who said the exact same thing that you just did. Like, first step, figure out which are the ones that's bothering you, even mildly. Get rid of those accounts. Even if it's a friend's account, stop following. I guess that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to follow dog accounts only. And
I
dog
swear
and cat
I did not watch
accounts.
that
That's
TEDx
it.
video.
Huh?
I swear I did not watch that TEDx video.
I believe you.